What's up, my crazy little cranberry bliss bars? This is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on #confirmed, we are digging into Devstream 135 to take a look at the last bits of Warframe news in the decade. Or century. No, it's decade. I'm pretty sure it's decade. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, we're actually starting things off with a little bit of housekeeping because I did want to make you guys aware the DE is doing a handful of holiday alerts that should be live now and will be stretching out till December 31st. And these items will include a Catalyst Blueprint, a Lens Solstice skin, as well as a Tatsu Solstice skin. Good choices, DE. And also a Centuria Solstice Sayandana. So if you're interested in any of those, make sure you go ahead and pop into game and knock those out real quick. Next up, speaking of time limited things, make sure you go ahead and take a look at the NoDeWiHoE Day 2 video that I published at super duper midnight last night, so you might have missed that notification. Regardless, I will leave it up in the top corner as well as down in the description box below, because we do have some giveaways that are going to be pulled tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure, like I said earlier, get in on that while you can. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump into what they actually talked about on the Devstream. So first and foremost, we had a whole slew of deluxe skin news. Now, as many of you guys know, Avara Deluxe has been teased and was sitting there for quite a while. I was actually thinking that they were going to release it with Avara Prime Access, similarly to how they did like Wukong Prime as well as Atlas Prime, but they did actually go ahead and postpone that for a few more polish passes, and we will be seeing it in January. Next up, this is something that we actually saw at TennoCon, and they're saying that they're actually working on it as we speak, which is the Ash Deluxe skin. So for any of you guys who are like Mortal Kombat fans out there, because that's blatantly what this looks like, they are working on that, and that should be released fairly soon. Well, not fairly soon, but soon-ish. Next up, for those of you guys who've had broken hopes and dreams over the Zephyr Deluxe and the fact that it may never come out, don't worry. They have confirmed that we will be seeing it next year. Perry, who's actually been working on it, of course, has been bogged down with so much work that there was no way that he could continue on with this passion project. So they're like, listen, give up the ghosts and let us take the reins. So they're actually going to be scrapping everything that you've seen of Zephyr Deluxe so far, and they're going to be starting fresh, and they guarantee that we will be seeing it sometime next year. Another item that we're going to be seeing, I don't know how soon, but maybe next year soon, is the Valkyr Deluxe skin. And this is actually going to be done by Liger Zanuka, the person who is working on the Excalibur Deluxe concept, the one who did the Korra concept, and so many more beautiful things for the game. So I'm really, really excited to see any semblance of that. They didn't show any kind of assets for that at all, but it is apparently in the works, so I'm really excited for that as well. Now, the last piece of a Warframe talk that we're going to be participating in, at least Warframe specific talk, is actually the next Warframe. It kind of sort of got teased, and I'm really interested because they didn't show any of the artwork for it, but they did show animations. Now, they were, of course, using a female frame because we did just have Goss and Grendel, so it's about time that we get our hands on a new female frame, and she was playing with balls. Does that sound appropriate? But that's what they were doing. So they did confirm that this is going to be another tech frame that apparently uses balls and will be designed by Pablo. Pablo also worked on the Vauban one, so he just is like filled with balls as of late. Anyway, that's all the news that we have for that so far, and I'm sure that they will be showing us some more stuff in the new year. Now, the rest of the stream was pretty much dedicated to Railjack stuff, and some of these things have actually already been implemented. But let's go over a couple top notes. First and foremost, they did remind us that the Command Intrinsic will be launching in 2020. So for everybody who's looking for a little bit more of a solo experience, you might have to wait a tad bit longer for that. They'll also be attempting to glitches eventually, because as you guys know, during TennoCon, they actually went ahead and showed some footage where you were fighting your Lich in space, and you had to use Squad Link to break down some shields or all of this kind of crazy stuff that was going on with that we have not yet seen. But they said that they are going to be moving into that at some point in time. Now, they talked about a couple issues, and they actually went ahead and implemented those things in a hotfix right now. So I'm going to read you the hotfix notes. It's a little bit of Rob reads you shit that you don't want to read yourself. But I pulled out significantly increase the amount of common resources awarded by the end of mission rewards. This touches on our plans for economy balancing within Railjack and should lend a hand to furthering your wreckage and payload crafting projects. Now, the reason that they're actually doing this, I feel like it's a bit of a temporary measure and will be addressed a little bit later down the line, but they were considering, or they got a lot of feedback that the resource cost for all of the wreckage components were a little too high. Now, the issue with that is there are some people building their wreckage or repairing their wreckage as we speak, so it's gonna be a little bit hard to like abruptly end that and then lower all the blueprint resource costs and have them, you know, go in and like, you know, try to like rebuild it. It's gonna be a weird code for them to have to do. So temporarily what they're gonna end up doing is bumping up the amount of resources that we gain. Now that might be their long-term solution, but they did say that they wanted to take a look at the numbers overall and figure out something a little bit bigger. So that's what's with that specific hotfix change. Next up we have cruise ship projectiles no longer seek after Archwings. They will attempt to fire at you, but they will no longer seek and one-hit KO your Archwing. So this, of course, is in addressing the fact that when it comes to Veil Proxima play, survivability is really rough, especially with all of the tracking weapons. Those damn cruise ships, like literally, you can see it when I'm live streaming. I will step out of a cruise ship and they will fire backwards onto you. You will literally see that they fucking wanted that. If you guys know that reference, you know what I mean. They wanted that missile and freaking curved all the way back on your ass. And I'm like, yo, the tracking on this is just a little too strong. So they removed the tracking for Archwing specifically. Now, of course, it will still track on the Railjack itself, but Archwings should now have a little bit more of a chance to dodge, blink, whatever you got to do to get out of the way of their shots. So hopefully that will kind of like improve survivability a little bit more when it comes to Veil Proxima play. Now, let's go ahead and talk about a bigger issue. And this is kind of be like the bigger chunk of what we talk about towards the end of this is modular Archwings and big changes to Archwings that are potentially coming. So when they were talking about what they planned on doing to balance out the usage stats of different Archwings, they also kind of put modular Archwings into the mix. And they were saying, this was straight from Steve's mouth, honestly, the Amisha will need to change a bit. And that threw me into panic mode just a little bit because I'm like, I love my Amisha. Please don't hurt my Amisha. But then Scott chimed in. All of the Archwings will need to undergo a radical redesign focused towards Railjack combat. They're going to get a hammer and a nerf and a buff and a change, everything. So I think they're going to go into some pretty heavy redesigns from the Warframe, or for the Archwings at their very, very core. They said that hopefully will come with the modular Archwings, and they're even considering breaking down the current Archwings that we have into modular components so that we can basically kind of mishmash everything around as we please. But of course, if you already have all of these items, they said that they would basically have the components there for you so that you could go ahead and either rebuild it or just have it straight out of the gate. So that's kind of the big issue. I don't know how you guys feel about that because there are definitely some balance issues when it comes to Archwing and Archwing weapon usage. Like a lot of people are talking, and my two favorite weapons, well, not my two favorite weapons, but my favorite weapon would be the Singus. That is my number one favorite. But the other one is the Phaedra. Now, of course, I'm going to feel like those usage stats on those weapons are going to go through the roof. And as you guys have seen, especially with Pablo and things like the Catch Moon, when the usage stats go up a lot, it shows that there are definitely some balance issues that go along with the entire game mode. So I think that they're going to go over some big sweeping changes in the New Year's. Now, I don't think that we're going to get them super duper ASAP because they did want to stress the fact that, listen, we're in the holiday season right now. We're aware of the meta, but we can't really change too much because there's so many people that are going to go on holiday. Now, traditionally, things start to get back into the groove like towards the end of January. So I feel like we're going to be stuck in our current meta for now, and there's not going to be any major switch ups until they get back in like late January, early February is when I think they're really going to start crunching down on things, and we probably won't see any big changes until end of February and then maybe into March. So this is something we're going to have to get comfortable with for now, and hopefully it won't completely and utterly wreck the Amisha, because that's been one of my favorites for such a long time. But I do know that some people who've absolutely loved the It's All kind of feel shitted on because of the fact that they can be invisible and missiles will track in on them. And they're like, I don't get how that works, but apparently that's a thing. So now at least they get a little bit more flexibility when it comes down to all of that. Regardless, let me know how you feel about all of these things down in the comments below. Also, let me know what kind of changes you would hope to see. Like, what kind do you feel like they really, really need to work on the survivability, just improving base stats? Do you think that would be a good idea? Or giving better, like, defensive abilities? Something along those lines as well. Toss all of your feelings down there in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody. And don't forget, I got a subathon coming up Saturday and Sunday where we're giving out a whole bunch of things like deluxe skins, the Empyrean Grand Bundle, as well as the Empyrean Supporter Pack. So make sure to check me out over at twitch.tv/agayGuyPlays. And I think that's it for now. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!